Couple of ball games to look forward to this evening. LSU and UNO from the box, and then LSU and Arkansas up at Bud Walton on the hardwood. Focus on the first of those two. Here is Jason Kelly, joins us in his weekly segment. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys?
Doing very, very well. Let's go back to the weekend that was and start with the guy you've given the ball to on back-to-back Fridays. Your impressions of Blake Money's second outing?
He was good. I mean, kept that strike percentage up real high. Was really aggressive in the strike zone, and if you watch him, you see how competitive he is. And I mean, just been a great early season kind of shining star for us.
I see him come out for the post-game interviews with the cowboy hat, and I don't know Blake because I don't cover the team day-to-day anymore. What's he like day-to-day, and what's he like on the mound?
You know, he's completely opposite on the mound than he is in day-to-day life. A very fun-loving, outgoing young man off the field, and a very intense, focused competitor between the lines. So what you see off the field with the cowboy hat and he's just so, I don't know what the right word is. Like, it's jovial. He's great to be around. He wants to answer questions. He's engaging in fans, people, and then you get him on the mound, and he gets a little bit of psycho running through that blood. So he's a good combination of both.
Ty Floyd, another outing heavy on the fastballs and heavy on effectiveness. What did you make of him on over the weekend?
Yeah, it's a lot of the same with him, and that's not weird, but it's an interesting situation with him because you wanna kind of veer off from that fastball a little bit, but there weren't many opportunities to do it again, and they don't hit that ball squarely. They tend to pop that thing up or swing and miss. So, I thought he was good. I think we do need to expand our pitch repertoire here in the next couple of weeks, and I expect him to be really confident with that. But another good outing from him, just dominant with the fastball.
To piggyback off that, this weekend you're facing three Big 12 teams, which should theoretically be a pretty significant step up in competition, especially the number one team in the country coming in on Saturday. Does it change the way that you operate, the way that you call pitches, knowing that they're a little bit step up in competition this weekend?
Yeah, in theory it does, but at the same time, you can watch as much tape as you want and kind of break them down as much as you want statistically, but we'll just see how they respond. And every offense is going to be a little bit different, and depending on how aggressive their nature is, we'll kind of start with our strengths, and then we'll work our way into what we need specifically to get guys out in certain situations. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of scouting, but also a little bit of kind of gut feel as the game goes along.
We all seen Money on Friday nights. I think that's pretty sealed in with the money right there. But as far as Hilliard and Floyd goes, do you think both those guys have done enough to earn the weekend starter jobs as starting pitchers?
That's a really good question. Have they done enough to earn it? I think they're close. I'd like to see a little bit more from them again. I think that they're both going to be really, really effective. It's just, are they, Coach Johnson and I's conversation about them is, are they 6, 7 inning guys, or are they, 3 to 5 inning type guys? And I think they're both very capable of being starters for us. It's just, when does that batting order kind of start to get to them a little bit? And I think that is what is going to be the biggest factor in those two guys staying in the rotation, because I know that they're capable of it. We all know they're capable of being starters. It's just, how many times can we get through that lineup and have them continue to be effective?
I've heard Jay Johnson talk about Bryce Collins and the kind of signee that he was when he inked with Arizona. Obviously, sitting out for 2 years with injuries, he's pitched in some lower leverage spots over the first 2 weeks. What do you see in Bryce?
We're still, I specifically, I guess, am still growing with Bryce and figuring out kind of what his role and where he is going to be really effective. The fastball is difficult to barrel up. It's, the velocity isn't at the top end. It's kind of 89 to 92, but it's got really good downward angle, which makes it hard for hitters to square up. And then the breaking ball the curveball's an elite pitch. And when he has that thing going, you saw the other night, I mean, that is a really difficult pitch to handle. So I think he fits in, with certain hitters that have trouble with the depth of a breaking ball. So if we can, scout the right way and find the right people that he fits against, he can be a lethal weapon for us out of that pen.
Unfortunately, we saw Javen Coleman leave in the middle of an inning. I don't know if you have an update on him. Either way, if he is not able to go for any period of time, does that change the way you handle Riley Cooper or Trey Schaefer? Does it matter because those are your left-handed guys you're supposed to count on?
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, Javen was a rock in that bullpen for us and devastating for us left-handed hitters. We think that Trey Schaefer can fill, a lot of that role that Javen had. Cooper's a little different type of a pitcher. He's not the fastball dominant type left-hander like Schaefer and Javen are. So he'll fit in a little different role. But yeah, we hope that Schaefer can fill what Javen has been doing for us the first 2 weeks. And he threw that second inning on Sunday and was really, really sharp. So I think that he is coming into his own. He's kind of figuring out what it takes to be an LSU pitcher and the preparation and all those things that go with it. And I think he's going to continue to get better and better and better.
Do you and Coach Johnson know who's going to be starting tonight at pitcher?
We do. We're going to start Garrett Edwards tonight.
Excellent. Is that a situation where you expect to extend him a little bit, or is that just to get him sharp in the first couple innings and then use a number of guys after that?
Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be kind of using multiple guys. We want to be ready for the weekend. There are some guys that we kind of have earmarked that we think need a little bit of work, depending, no matter what the score is. But I would imagine, we might see 5 or 6 guys out of that bullpen tonight just to make sure everybody throws enough to get work in during the week. And we obviously have to win this game, no question. We think we can match up well with our bullpen and those guys, but also to make sure that everybody's pitch count is relatively low heading into a weekend for us.
Obviously, opening weekend brings some adrenaline and some emotion, but this is going to a big league ballpark and, like I said, a little bit of a step up in competition. Do you talk to your guys about trying to keep that adrenaline and stay under control, or do you tell them to go out there and just let it rip?
It's probably 50-50. I mean, we want to really kind of suck it in and realize that it is a big place and it's exciting, and we want to pitch great, but at the same time kind of keep our nerves with us and realize that the task is the same task as it is if there's 100 people in the stands versus if there's 10,000 people in the stands. Our job is to locate and compete, and if they can keep that mindset, that usually helps get them through it. But there is no question that playing in a cool ballpark like this, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. So hopefully it happens really quickly for those guys. We get to practice there on Thursday. So I think that'll kind of scrub some of that newness off it, hopefully. And when we get ready for Friday, we'll be kind of all those nerves will have died down, and we'll be ready to compete, like you said, against 3 really good opponents.
He is Jason Kelly, LSU pitching coach, with us here for a couple more minutes, as he is every single Wednesday at 12:30. Question, Coach, is through 2 weeks, how do you feel?
I feel good. When you look at the numbers on the pitching staff, the numbers are good. We're throwing a lot of strikes. We've been really competitive. Obviously, when you're scoring, I don't know what we're scoring. We're scoring 11 runs a game. That makes my job a different than it usually is. I think we can do a good job if we continue to score 12 runs a game for the rest of the year. But I feel good about our guys. We've been really competitive. There's been a ton of energy in our dugout. And I think that this group is figuring themselves out and figuring out what we want from them and doing it at a good rate. And so, yeah, I feel really good about where we are and where we're going.
Last question. I want to ask you about Grant Taylor. Jay said potentially at Ruston he was up north of 95, 96, 97 miles an hour. What did you see from him in his outing, and can we expect to see a little more from him?
I hope so. I mean, I'm just infatuated with what he is right now and what he's going to be. And what you saw in Ruston was, 95 to 97, a couple of 98s, a breaking ball for strikes, very calm, competitive demeanor. I mean, a lot of really, really, really good things. So I'm excited for him to get more opportunities. And I think he's going to be a monster by the time we get to conference play and beyond.
LSU pitching coach Jason Kelly with us every Wednesday at 12:30. Coach, we appreciate some time. Best of luck tonight. Safe travels over to Houston, and y'all go get them this weekend.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.